website. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, and it is a special one. And I wanted to go back and kind of remember the purpose of why we all come together. We're an agnostic group of change management professionals that are here to learn from each other, support each other, and inspire and lead change throughout the world. And our mantra, of course, is we want to ensure that everyone impacted by change is successful with that change. Today, we're celebrating the 8th anniversary of the PSCP, which is super, super cool. And we have some guests with us today that helped found the PSCP. But really quickly in chat, I know how cool. Everybody's like doing their awesome emojis. We're gonna have a lot of emojis today, guys. So we want you to really quickly tell us in chat what keeps you engaged with the PSCP. Passionate presenters, Michelle. Oh, how sweet, Corey. That was funny. Presentations, I like the topics and different voices, great content, relevant topics, hearing real life experience from other practitioners. It's the people. Y'all are so dedicated and passionate and a delight. Oh, that's awesome. Great presentations again. This is my first meeting. Welcome, Beverly from Ohio Job and Family Services. Welcome to the fold for sure. Connecting with others in the same area. Oh, another new one, League. Hello, welcome. I'm newish, so I'm happy to see what people love about this. Hi, Amanda from Penn. And learning new things. Well, that's awesome. Learning from others who face the same barriers. Oh, I love that one. I think we do face a lot of barriers and change in the change world. So it's nice to hear how other people handled those. We're in just a minute, we're going to ask you guys to do a survey, but keep all that in mind as we work through this. And I'm glad to hear what keeps you engaged with us. So again, like I was saying, the PSCP was launched on May 21st, 2018. So it's been 8 years. So here's Throwback Wednesday. I know it doesn't rhyme, but here's some old pictures from way back in the day, the first day of the PSCP. And I'm wondering if Claire and Megan are here. That's who's in the photos with me.
I saw Megan signed in. Megan, can you unmute?
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Good morning. How are you, Megan?
Good morning. It's good to see everyone. Look how much longer my hair is now.
It's like, look at that and look at that. Very much so. That's crazy. Claire, are you here? I talked to Claire last night. She said she'd be here, so I wonder if something happened. Well, I was going to ask Claire and Megan, you're on the spot now because you're the only one here. What do you remember from back in the day when we started the PSCP?
Yeah, I am on the spot. You know, I think that was just an interesting time for me. I was changing careers. I was, an intern for a long time before I really was able to shift out of a career in teaching and then into what I do now, which is leadership development. So it feels to me like very much the beginning of this new career path for me, which I absolutely love. I've been getting to do some change work recently, some training we're working on designing internally, and it is all informed by the amazing time I had with you all and everything I learned from so many of our presenters in the PSCP. So it's been quite the journey and such a joy. And I think of both Gary and Michelle often in terms of setting me up for success.
Awesome. Thank you. I think back and I remember that, it was me and Claire, we were talking and we kind of came up with the idea and I said, yeah, let's do it. And I remember telling you and Claire, do a charter real quick, put it together, and you guys just ran with it. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, you guys really are the ones that created the PSCP. So I just wanted to say thank you and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
I know. I was wondering what Claire's hair looked like, but she's not here, so we'll have to find out. Mine's the same. All right, so this is our agenda for today. We're going to celebrate not just what we just did, but we're going to talk about it even more as we go forward. We're going to do a quick poll, and then we're going to jump into the webinar. And so it's kind of weird. I'm hosting today for our 8th anniversary, and I am part of the webinar. So I'll be talking a lot today. I hope you don't get tired of my voice. After the webinar, we'll do a quick Q&A, and then we have a possible raffle winner today. I'll explain more about that in just a minute. So let's move to the poll. Patricia, do you want to explain the poll?
Sure, yes. I just launched the poll, so you should be able to access it on your web browser there. So you're going to want to click on the waffle meeting tools, and you can see that in the lower right hand corner, and then it's going to pull up another window, and in that window there's going to be an option for polls, and there should be 2 live polls for you to answer. And the 2 questions are, which of the current resources do you value the most? So we just want you to pick the one you value the most. And then the second one is, you know, it's our anniversary. We want to look at continuing to grow and expand and provide good resources for you. So we're curious. We put a list together of offerings that we're considering, and which one would you be the most interested in? So we'd love to get your feedback to help us continue to provide great resources for you through the PSCP.
Thank you so much, Patricia. I see all the votes are coming in too. Awesome. Is anybody having problems or troubles? Okay.
Great. It looks like on the current resources, everybody loves our webinars. So that's great. Thank you for continuing to come to our webinars. And then for offerings the folks would be most interested in, it's kind of a mixed bag right now. The virtual PSCP conference is getting the most votes so far. So keep your votes coming in. We'll keep it open during the duration of the webinar.
Awesome.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. All right, you guys keep going on the poll. We definitely want to know what you want so we can make sure to provide that. And this is a quick link. Go ahead. You don't have to fill it out right now. Click on it, throw it up in a browser so you have it for later if you don't want to do it right now since we're getting ready to start. But we want to hear more from you, you know, on top of the polls. And so if you can click on that and fill that out, we would greatly appreciate it. And somebody, there it is. Thank you, Corey. It's in chat. All right. So as you guys know, we've been working toward starting a nonprofit, paperwork and getting things done and becoming a nonprofit. Before we did that, we wanted to make sure we had enough in the bank account to be able to pay for things and stuff like that. So our goal was $2,500. Right now we're at $670. And we've had 21 individual donations. So thank you everyone who has donated towards the cause. We really, really appreciate it. And today we have a possible raffle for the 3-day practitioner course by ProSci, a virtual course. You would attend virtually with ProSci and get the certification as a practitioner. So that's what we're going to raffle. But we wanted to say, okay, if we can make it to $1,000 today, we'll go ahead and hold the raffle. If we can't make it to $1,000 today, we're going to wait. And we're going to, you know, do a lot of marketing, a lot of communication, and try to get the numbers up a little bit more before we do the raffle. So we'll either do it today or we'll do it next time, one or the other. So that's what we're trying to do. Since 2018, I have paid personally out of my pocket everything involved with the PSCP. So the URL, the website, all the stuff. And when you go nonprofit, it's going to cost even more because we have to have a mailbox, you know, those types of things. So I would love to be able to have a little bit in the bank account before we go nonprofit so that I'm not, you know, personally draining my own bank account dry for everything. So, yep, there's the money. Oh, that was cool. I didn't know there was a money one, Corey. Very cool. All right, you guys, so that's where we're at. By the way, you can do the code there. You can donate throughout the whole webinar today. Patricia's watching the GoFundMe. And if we do hit $1,000 today, we've got a way to do the raffle really quickly at the end. And so that's what we're going to do. So we will keep on moving. Any questions about this before I move on? Okay. All right, so now I've got to sort of take my PSCP hat off and put my CDOT hat on because I'm part of the presentation today. And today we're going to have my team, my supervisor, Gary Van Such, and our two wonderful intrepid interns, Anna and Corey, are joining us. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, hopefully. Let's see here. And I'm going to allow Anna or Corey to share theirs.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Corey, are you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right.
All right, you guys are free to go whenever you want.
Cool. All right. Well, good morning, PSCP. Thanks for having us with you today. We have a candid interview about the realities of starting and growing an organizational change management program in a government agency. And we got that lined up for you today. So we hope you enjoy it and get a lot of really good information. Feel free to type any questions that you may have in the chat pane as we go along, and then we'll have Q&A at the end. So yeah, I'm Corey Bauman.
And I'm Anna Brady.
We both worked with today's guests as interns in CDOT's Office of Process Improvement, where we have had the opportunity to learn from firsthand and hear many of the stories and lessons that we're going to hear about today.
We're going to be asking them some questions that we hope will showcase the ups and downs of their journey towards organizational change management maturity. We hope you'll relate to the stories wherever you are in your own journey.
But before we introduce them, we have a quick question to get you thinking about your own OCM program detours. Could you just drop in the chat anything that's made your change management efforts change course? Yeah, I see leadership indifference, leadership changing priorities, more leadership changes, change administration.
I think we have a common theme.
Yeah. Yeah, becoming a new department, like reorgs, budget. Yeah, I'm doing that. Project's taking so long, they're no longer relevant right now. Change fatigue, realignments, staff. Yeah, budget cuts. Oh my God. Yep. Too comfortable with the old way of running projects. Still have support, not resources. Yeah, wow. It seems like they definitely were around a handful of themes there. And I think today we're going to hear some of these stories that line right up with what you all have experienced. So let's, without further ado, let's get going.
So today we have Gary Van Such, Director of Process Improvement at CDOT, and Michelle Malloy, Program Manager at CDOT, and your Executive Director of the PSCP. These two have worked together for the past 15 years and have a ton of experience between them. So let's get started.
Gary, do you have Gary? I don't know. There you are.
I am indeed. And folks, we are so honored to be here today for Public Sector Change Practitioners' 8th anniversary. My name is Gary Van Such. And I work as the Director of the Office of Process Improvement at CDOT. For those of you that may not know much about the Colorado Department of Transportation, we plan, build, operate, and maintain the Colorado transportation system to benefit the citizens of Colorado, but frankly, everybody that might benefit from our transportation system. If you don't live in Colorado, I know many of you are from places like Pennsylvania, welcome Amanda, places like Ohio, I saw you online, Juliana. Come to our state. We have a wonderful transportation system. CDOT is 3,300 of our fellow Coloradans. We are scattered across the entire state. Our state is roughly a rectangle. If you put a rectangle on the wall, if you threw a dart at it and you hit the rectangle, wherever that dart lands, you're going to have somebody from CDOT there. And that makes sense. Our transportation system is spread across the state. We have our people spread across the state too, because that's where our wonderful transportation system is, and all of our customers. We have over 200 different staff locations where public servants are working to help make that Colorado transportation system work. We cover the 104,000 square miles of Colorado. We do that with a lot of assets, and including we have over 22,000 lane miles of highway, and underneath the right-of-way for much of that highway, we have another wonderful asset. We have a lot of fiber optic cable, which is helping everybody across the state as we move into our post-internet age. We manage 35 major mountain passes, more than any other state. We're proud of that. And we plow a ton of snow. Over 5 million, think about this, 5 million lane miles of snow was plowed in 2025. It's a wonderful state, a wonderful organization, and along with PSCP, a wonderful organization too. We are so proud to be here today. Corey, back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Gary. Go ahead, Anna.
As sung by Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music, let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. Gary, how long have you been at CDOT, and how did the Office of Process Improvement get started?
I've been honored to be at CDOT for 15 years. I let folks know very frequently I'm the most fortunate person on the planet for many reasons. I have a wonderful wife of many years, wonderful children who are grown and making terrific contributions in education and science, and the very best job in Colorado. And perhaps any place, which is helping other people at CDOT improve. This was brought along during the Hickenlooper administration. Governor Hickenlooper, and he's now Colorado Senator Hickenlooper, but Governor Hickenlooper brought into the state the Lean Process Improvement Initiative, where we were dedicated to working to make government more effective, efficient, and what he called elegant. Elegant meaning customer focused, and I love that. So across the state, the different departments, including CDOT, developed something similar to Office of Process Improvement called continuous improvements, in some departments, operational excellence, but all with the same focus of making government better for everybody that benefits from the products and services of government. So I've been at CDOT 15 years. Anna, thank you for asking.
Yeah, and why did you decide to create an organizational change management program at CDOT?
So Michelle and I are going to be taking turns at some of these questions. Lean process improvement's wonderful. It's focused at utilizing the principles and practices of Lean that emanate from a lot of different places, including from the Toyota production system, focused on continuous improvement and respect for people. And respect for people in particular, involving the people that are involved in production of products and services in state government, making sure that they're the folks that are working on improving government. I found early on that we had an appetite for taking on lots of large projects at CDOT, and we had some terrific training on what I call technical lean process improvement, but not so much so on the people side of improvement and innovation. How do people react to innovation and improvement? How do they absorb that? How can we support them? It just wasn't in any of the materials we had. I'd been, a big fan of change management for a long time, utilized it in prior positions I had. So we knew that we needed to bring on the capabilities of organizational change management to support the wonderful people that we were asking, those 3,300 people across CDOT. We wanted to support them in their efforts to improve the organization and to bring in the principles and practices of change management, the people side of innovation and improvement.
Yeah, thank you for that. Michelle, how long have you been at CDOT, and how did you get involved with the Office of Process Improvement and the Organizational Change Management Program?
I've been at CDOT for 18 years now, and I'm not sure if there's something wrong, but it should be the next slide. There we go. So I've been at CDOT for 18 years now, and I started at CDOT as an SAP business management analyst, and I was doing a lot of SAP things, and I kind of worked myself out of that job a couple of times, if not more. And so I was, trying to do different things. I was reaching out, branching out, doing communications across the state. I was doing training across the state. I was just, really trying to stay busy and fill holes where they were at. And then Gary started. And I was so excited because I was like, process improvement, business things. Oh, this is so exciting. And so I think I probably emailed Gary within his first couple of days of being at CDOT and said, hey, I want to do stuff for you. And so that's how it started. And I, real quickly became a lean leader. Real quickly started doing change management, project management, all kinds of things.
Thank you. Can you tell us, and especially for those interested in starting their own organizational change management program, how did you approach starting OCM at CDOT in the very beginning?
So Gary invited me to headquarters, and I came in and I sat down, and he handed me a 3-ring binder. And there was some information about change management, ProSci, and there was a list of 12 people that were current change agents, and said, we need a change agent network. We need to stand up a change management program, go forth and conquer. And that's what I did. So that's kind of how the very first day, how it started. I knew that we, needed to do training, and Gary, had already started working on the contract for ProSci. And so, of course, we did a lot of training. And this will come up again in a little bit, but we really focused on sponsors and supervisors in the beginning. Again, the change agent network of 12 people was started. And very quickly we realized 12 people was not enough for the entire state. And so I went to work on how do we, cover the entire state. And then I thought we really needed to approach it in a strategic way. So I definitely dove into maturity models at the beginning, started strategic planning, and all kinds of things like that just to get it going.
Anna, if you could go back just the slide, we have advice for folks online, and we have a slide at the end on this. But I'll jump in occasionally with thoughts, and so will Michelle. Michelle is a true leader in the organization. Folks, whenever you have the serendipity, the good luck to stumble across a great leader, oh my gosh, scoop that up. I know that in the question that was asked earlier, part of why many of you got into change management was leadership. I want to work with leaders in the organization. And that doesn't mean people that necessarily have the official mantle of manager or supervisor or something. There's a quote I've got up on my other screen here from President John Quincy Adams from back in the day. He said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more, and to become more, you are a leader. And that's Michelle. That's what, and I was so fortunate. Again, take serendipity when it comes along your way. I was so fortunate to have Michelle come on to my team. And she wasn't originally on my team. She was on another team across CDOT. I was so fortunate. So thank you, Michelle. And everybody, a first piece of advice, take advantage of serendipity when you have it. Look for those leaders in the organization, even if they don't have the official mantle of manager or supervisor. Thanks, Anna. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Gary.
Let's go on to that next slide.
Yeah. So it's always been an important part of your process to have this, role-based training to pull people in across the organization. So can you expand more on what the early days of that role-based training looked like?
Absolutely. I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of good partners across, the many years that I've been in various roles. Before coming on to CDOT, I realized the importance of change management. That was coming out of a another manager that I had, Tom Frangello, when I worked for Oppenheimer Funds. Now defunct, it's owned by another company. But the importance of change management and had an early relationship with the ProSci organization. Recognized that we needed to have good training. It's not enough to say, oh, let's all be more competent in change management. It's good to have that direction, but just to have somebody point a finger at you and say, be more competent, that doesn't work. So we knew we needed to bring on change management early on. We had project leaders for larger projects. They were terrific folks and did not know about the people side of change other than they knew that they need to know something about it. So back in March 2012, and this is actually an email, I know it's impossible to read, but this is the email to that first cohort of change management practitioners we had. We pulled them into a 3-day workshop. It's based on the ProSci methodology. And again, we're proponents of ProSci at CDOT. Wherever you are, a second piece of advice, find some approach to change management. Doesn't have to be ProSci, but find some approach to change management and utilize it. We found ProSci to be research-based and very useful for us. That first cohort did some terrific stuff in March 2012. Fast forward, I want to let you know we are now planning for cohort number 42. Yes, cohort number 42 here at CDOT. We have trained over 400 people in our 3-day workshops. Of course, some of them have left CDOT, they've retired, other things, but we have over 400 people at CDOT and other state agencies. We'll get into that in a few minutes. We also have role-based training for other folks. Out of those 3,300 people at CDOT, 616 of them are supervisors and managers, all the way from frontline managers up through the executive suite. 91% of the current supervisors and managers at CDOT have been through our 1-day workshop for change management for managers and supervisors, what their role is in for change. So persistence pays, folks. That's my third piece of advice. Persistence pays. We didn't do this in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. We've been at this 15 years. Persistence pays, folks. Michelle, you may have some thoughts also.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I think I was I in that first cohort? I can't remember.
You were in the second one.
I was on the second one. Okay. All right. I knew I was in there. So, oh, there you are. Okay. Everything's moving around on me on my screen. Sorry. Okay, back to you guys.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about CDOT's Change Agent Network? It started in that first era. What was your focus for it during that time frame?
Like I said, I started with 12, learned really quickly that wasn't enough for the state. So I decided to do a decentralized model, and every region got a team and a sponsor. And we counted how many supervisors we had. And so we wanted to have enough change agents to cover those supervisors, like 1 change agent per 5 supervisors. So we ended up we ended up with 105 change agents, and each one was assigned 5 managers and supervisors at the time. And the reason we did that is we wanted, one, to have that face-to-face communication as information came out from changes that were happening. Then the change agents could take that information and have face-to-face conversations with people around them, that assigned supervisor. But the other thing that was really pivotal, I think, is, one, we would train the change agents every year what their role was, and 2, we expected them to watch out for resistance in their areas. And if they saw resistance, they would go to the supervisor of the person that was resistant and say, hey, I saw this. Let's do an ADQUAR assessment and a quick plan on how to address it. And so we really were trying to set the supervisors up for success with the change agent support. And I think that that's what made our change agent network a lot different than others that you hear about. And it really was so very successful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's somebody asking in the chat there if all the change agents were managers or are.
No, we only wanted people that wanted to do it. And so it could be anybody, frontline, anyone, but we wanted them to want to be a change agent. So that created more passion. In fact, I tried one model one time where I had a lot of higher level managers. I would almost say regional executives at the time on a team. And that team did not fare as well as teams of people that wanted to be a change agent.
Thank you.
Gary, what would you say were the most important lessons you learned from 2011 to 2014, which was era one of this journey? I think you're muted.
Thank you. Anna knows that I am technology challenged occasionally. Thanks for that, Anna. There are, first of all, persistence pays, folks. We've been at this a long time. And there are things that work, and there are things you think will work on a design board, like, the board behind me, and you get it into practice and it just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So persistence pays. Try some things. You got to get out there and try some things. And I love folks at CDOT know that I love our CDOT values. I carry our 6 CDOT values with us. One of our values is about people. We value our employees. We acknowledge and recognize the skills and abilities of our coworkers. It's all about people. CDOT, if people think about transportation, they might think about bridges and highways, asphalt and concrete and steel. Yeah, that's part of the mix, but CDOT is about people helping other people. And that's true for change management too. Always keep that in mind. It's people, work with people, get feedback from people. Don't expect anybody to be perfect. There's no perfection out there, but keep working at it. Persistence for sure. Michelle, you may have some thoughts on this also.
I think back from the very early days, and I remember CDOT was really changing the fabric of the organization at the time. We were redoing how we did, cash management, asset management, program management, all of it at once. And I remember at that time, the mantra was, we're building the bridges, we're standing on it kind of change. And so starting the Change Agent Network and starting change management amongst all of that change and being, we had to be so flexible. I remember sometimes pulling together the Change Agent Network once a week because so much change was happening so fast that we had to get information out, instantly. And so I just remember it being a very, very busy time. And it really, I think change management, had we not started change management during that time, things would have been very different at CDOT. And so I just, we just had so much fun, I think, during that, the first part of our journey. And it really solidified with me how important change management is as you roll out change in any way. So.
Thank you, Michelle. We're going to roll into era 2. So in the second era of CDOT's change management journey, kind of 2015 to 2018, the CDOT team experienced an administration change. It worked to establish a PMO, CMO, continued to improve process improvement, project management, change management, both internally and externally. And this era is when the PSCP was born. So it was a big era for CDOT.
How did the new administration in 2015 impact the Office of Process Improvement and specifically the Change Management Program?
We got a lot that we could say. Michelle, maybe you want to start off. I know that 3 Peaks is near and dear to your heart.
Well, I think the new, the change in administration was a huge positive for the Office of Process Improvement. They really supported what we were doing and wanted our help. And so we were very much brought into the fold at a high level, and we ended up doing a lot of things. This is where we had our first attempt at a PMO CMO. We called that our formal organizational management system. And I even brought a team together to put things, to start it. And then we presented out to the executive management team, and they very quickly said, no, we don't want this, So that one was folded. Back to the drawing board. CDOT's 3 Peaks was our internal strategic initiative. So we used that, we leveraged that to create our second attempt at a PMO CMO. It was a subset of projects. If you can see the poster here, this was back from 2017. It had our purpose, our values, our summit, our peaks, technology, people, and tech and systems. But those trails that you see, those are all individual projects. And so that was our subset of projects, and that became our second attempt at PMO CMO. And any project that went onto that poster had a lot of eyes on it. And so they did things the right way. We did chartering, we had change management, we had all of these things involved in these projects, and they were so successful. And as they came off, others were added. And so at any given time, we had 32 to 54 projects in this smaller subset PMO CMO. It was a very exciting time.
And let me add in, the purpose was to become the best Department of Transportation in the country. And there was some reaction to that, saying, "Oh, that's such a stretch."
You can't measure that.
Yeah, it's difficult. It may have looked like perfection to folks. Folks there at CDOT know that I take my inspiration from a lot of places, and I do like inspirational quotes. The great Vince Lombardi once said, "Perfection is not attainable, but if you chase perfection, you might just catch excellence." That's what we were aiming at. Let's get everybody focused in the same direction. This structure was wonderful. I advise of folks to have a structure like this. We, of course, took advantage of the Colorado peaks, trails, that kind of stuff. Whatever makes sense for your organization, take advantage of that. Get it visual. I get that direction. Get the conversation going with people, even if there are people saying, we can't attain this. You get the conversation going. A piece of advice that I have for everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can you tell us a bit about expanding change management within and beyond CDOT during this era?
So, we'll tag team on this. Our very first cohort back in March 2012 was focused mostly at CDOT. But if you notice from that slide, we also had another department, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, known as CDPHE. In that cohort, there's interest across the state to have projects be successful so that people can be successful with the changes that impact them. And cohorts after that, we had interest back and forth, always working with ProSci to make sure that they were okay with us bringing in folks from other organizations on a small basis. There was this groundswell of interest in change management across the state. And Michelle, you were a big part of that. I'll hand it over to you.
Yes, I remember bringing in people from all different agencies and saying, "Look what we're doing at CDOT. This is so cool. Do you want to do this?" And and so more and more people throughout the second era really started wanting to, be involved. We asked ProSci. ProSci said, "Yeah, you can bring some people in and train them." So we did, just to start creating awareness and desire across other state agencies. Because we collaborate with other state agencies a lot on a lot of different things. And it would be really nice if we all spoke the same language, if we all understood the importance and the value of change management with changes that are happening across the board. And so that's what we did during this time frame, is really, promote the awareness and build desire for everyone to have a contract.
Great. So another key milestone from the era was the birth of PSCP, which is celebrating its 8th anniversary in a couple of days here. How did that initiative come about?
So we already kind of talked about it. It was Megan, Claire, and I, and we were kind of we did a lot of things, Claire, Megan, and I, during their internship at our at CDOT. They were excellent interns, by the way, and they're still excellent at everything they do. They're very, very bright people. But they wanted to do it, and I supported that, and I think we should, and that it just sprung out, and it was so successful. And we had a great time doing it, and I don't know, I think that shows. And I think that's why we have so many people that have been with us for 8 years so far.
And if I could just add in another piece of advice, everybody hire some interns. Megan was the 42nd person to serve as an intern on our team. Claire was the 43rd. You have two of our interns online today asking us questions. Corey's the 97th person, and Anna's the 98th person. I'm the product of internships, and I wouldn't be where I am today without that. And I always told myself I'd hire interns, to return the favor. I did not realize how great it was to be a mentor for interns. I learned so much. So everybody online, my additional piece of advice: hire some interns. You will benefit. They will benefit. Your customers will benefit.
Yeah,
right.
We will be hiring our 98th intern here soon. And
no 99th intern.
So Anna was 98th.
Yep.
So here we go, 99 interns. I think June 1st will be our 99th intern. I cannot believe it. And they do keep you young and hip and cool. That's why I'm that way. So it's the interns.
And Rachel, got your note? I'll send you some stuff. All right. Thanks.
Well, and your interns are just as grateful for y'all. Michelle, we talked about the Change Agent Network earlier. Do you want to expand on it here and talk about the focus during this era and the choice to sunset it?
So yeah, during this era, like I said, it was really neat. Gary and I were involved in a lot of things at the executive level. We were doing the internal strategic initiative 3 Peaks. We were weaving change management throughout the entire organization. This is the time when change management started, showing up on our job announcements. This is the time where change management was becoming, a performance review. These are the types of things. It just was really infiltrated the organization. This is where we really had a huge maturity growth in change management. And so consequently, the Change Agent Network was just rocking right along. They were doing really, really good. I think during this era is the era that we rolled out more change, more effectively and more efficiently than any other time. Because our supervisors knew how to catch the change and how to manage resistance and how to do things. They had support from change agents. And our project managers, the ones on the 3 Peaks, were integrating change management in their project planning. They were doing all the right things. And so consequently, I just remember this being a very productive time in business projects, the changes that roll out. And it was so smooth as well, like a lot of smooth change. And so towards the end of this era, I remember Gary and I met with our sponsor coalition, and they said, everything seems so great. Like all these changes are rolling out so good and so easy and so nice. It's probably time to sunset the Change Agent Network. And so Gary, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, there are things you try and they work, and this was working great. And occasionally you go like this. If I had one decision to reverse, I would have reversed the decision to close down the Change Agent Network. It was indeed working well. It is doing exactly what it needed to do. It was helping engage those frontline managers to help engage the people that are being impacted by change, which is them for sure, but also their frontline folks. And we should have kept it in place. Well, we'll have some more details about that later. It's just one of those things along the way. It was a bump on the road, and we can do some things about that. Yeah. All right, Corey, back to you.
Yeah, that second era seemed like a pretty exciting part of CDOT's OCM journey. Got to kind of keep it moving along, but what were just a couple things that were key learnings from that period?
It's very similar learnings. Persistence pays. And engaging people, and in this case, in a lot of cases, those people were sponsors, key executives, helping them. It's us, as change management professionals, helping the people activate their own roles, the key roles that they have, sponsoring change, project managers of key changes, supervisors as they're engaging their role of helping their people be successful. Folks, it's all about people for sure. Michelle, you may have some other thoughts about that?
Yeah, and I'm going to try to keep it short too, because we are running short on time. So I will say, and that was my PSCP hat. Now I'm back to CDOT. I will say that this error was the error that showed me how a well-run oiled machine, an agency, can be. Like how it works when it's really running well. And so I'm glad I got to experience that, because I have that in my mind of how it looks when things are, really good. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks, Corey. Or is it Anna now? I don't know.
As it happens in government, 2019 once again brought in a new administration and new leadership at CDOT. I've heard government veterans at all levels often refer to these periods as whiplash. Even though that whiplash seems predictable, the nature of the change often isn't. So starting the third era of this journey, keep in mind the team got a new executive director and many new people in leadership positions. There was a sudden end to CDOT's 3 peaks, COVID started, and there was a growing interest in statewide change management, thanks to CDOT spreading awareness of it. Michelle, what is CDOT's concept to project program and what factors led to its creation?
So in the third error, when the new administration came in, the CDOT's 3 peaks was done. So there went our PMO, right, that we had worked on. And so we very quickly thought we need a new way to do that. So this is our third attempt at a PMO CMO. And it is actually really working, and we've actually set it up to where, it should survive the next administration change. So this is concept to project, and it is truly what we would recognize as a PMO CMO. We don't use those words at CDOT, but we, the overall goal is to ensure that all CDOT's business improvement projects are successful and realize their intended benefits. And so that's our overall goal of the C2P. But within that, of course, that means that we've got a way for change management to be integrated into each and every project that impacts people.
Gary, how does the concept to project program support the maturity of change management at CDOT?
Oh, a big time. Concept of project pulls in the principles and practices of change management, the people side of innovation and improvement. It combines them with, other important principles from other disciplines. Project management, how the technical side of projects work, that's important. Process improvement, and we utilize lean process improvement methodology here. How do you actually change processes to make them better? And then how do you facilitate teams of people that get together, people that don't know each other necessarily, and it's temporary. The skills of the profession of facilitation, it pulls those things together. And those are all important for the success of projects, which in turn is important to make sure that each and every person is successful with each and every change. C2P is a major evolution there.
Well, you can't be around the Office of Process Improvement at CDOT for very long without ProSci coming up. For every OPI intern, we have to go through the 3-day change management practitioner course to make sure we speak the language of change and make sure that we always have ADCAR and making sure every person is successful with every change burned into our brains. During this era, CDOT spearheaded the contract for change management with ProSci for the entire state of Colorado. It seems like a large undertaking. Can you tell us why you did that and how it's going?
I'll say it's needed. Michelle, you figure you put in your 2 cents worth, but it was needed. Every organization can benefit from the principles and practices of change management. Big endeavor, but absolutely needed. Michelle, your thoughts?
It was a huge endeavor. It took about 5 years to get the contract. Because CDOT had a contract before, we wanted another one, but we wanted it to be inclusive of all agencies, and we wanted it to be a grassroots effort. We wanted it to mean something. And so it took about 5 years. We got it done. And I'd like to report in this third era, we are now up to 11 agencies that are participating with the contract with us. And we have a whole group within Colorado now that are working together. In fact, I'd like to, can I tell them, Patricia?
Sure. Go for it.
Patricia just got her train the trainer, and she'll be teaching with me here in a couple weeks. So I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be, and then she's going to take off, and she's actually starting right after this. She has her first community of practice inside her agency starting. So I'm so excited for her. Okay.
During this era, the PSCP also had a pretty big milestone. The PSCP left the umbrella of CDOT and started out on their own. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the PSCP started under the umbrella of CDOT, as you guys saw. So me and the interns, put it together. We started it, we ran it. And very quickly, we got a lot of people from inside of Colorado, but we wanted to expand that. We wanted to get more depth and breadth of experience and thoughts. And we just believed in, the more brains in the room, right, the more information you can get and the better it'll be. So we wanted to expand and go worldwide. And so that's why we took it out from under CDOT and created its own independent, it's its own independent COP now.
Yeah, so to drill down back into C2P just a little bit more, getting a procedural directive in place to establish C2P is a pretty big step. Can you tell us about, why you did that and how it's helped the program?
It's a huge step. We wrote it, put it together. We, socialized it a lot, and then finally went forward and got it. And it has been approved just not very long ago, 6, 7, 8 months ago, maybe. And so we have a PD in place. And so we really, wanted to hook our PMO CMO with something to survive changes that we all know in government are going to happen, and we want it to survive and keep moving forward. So that's one of the reasons we did it. Another reason is we wanted to provide a standard process that everybody can follow very succinctly. We have, of course, websites and all kinds of stuff, tools everywhere, but it gives them that process. This is what I have to do with every internal business improvement project that we have at CDOT.
Cool. Thank you, Michelle. Let's go on here to the takeaways. Quickly, we'll wrap up this third era. Just go through any of the key kind of learnings that you think you've gotten from this sort of most recent period.
The stuff you have up there, it's always about people. Yeah, CDOT's asphalt, concrete, and steel, but for sure, but mostly about people. It's always about people. We want to ensure that each and every person can be successful with each and every change that impacts them. I've been on the negative side of that. I've been part of changes that have impacted me negatively. I know what that feels like, and I hate it. So I want to help ensure that each and every person can be successful with each and every change that impacts them. People are important. We need to help activate people in their roles. That's an important thing for all of us to do as change management professionals. I've provided a few pieces of advice. We've had wonderful contributions from lots of folks. Please hire some interns, folks. They have contributed to the development of our program. They bring on fresh eyes to say, why in the world are you doing it that way on change management? Key things we've changed. And of course, they 2 interns were the ones that developed this PSCP forum. So it's always about people, folks. Michelle?
I agree. People. It is so important. And I'd like just to take a few minutes, or just a few seconds, I should say, since we're in a rush. But I also want to thank my supervisor, Gary. He's a wonderful person. And I know that everybody here probably knows, but I was caretaking for the last 3 years, my parents. And my boss and the board of directors for the PSCP, everybody covered me when I couldn't do it. And I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to everyone. It really did make a huge difference. And that's people, right? Having relationships, helping people when they need it. That's so very, very important. And that's what I learned. One of the things I learned over this last hour. Oh, and we have a lot of fun. If you didn't see that in the pictures, we have a lot of fun.
Much to that point, and something that we mentioned earlier, Gary is big on quotes. This one, I think, sums up their journey pretty well. The oak fought the wind and was broken. The willow bent when it must and survived. I definitely think that Gary and Michelle are willows.
All right, speed round.
Yep.
So there's so many stories we haven't not had time to talk about in the change management journey, but in the interest of time, what does the road ahead look like?
We're really going to focus on bringing back the Change Agent Network, continue to build on CTP. We want it more integrated. We want more people using it. We want it to be, we want to see results. That's what I'd like to see. And focus really on activating the roles in the organization. That's where we're at.
All in the interest of helping each and every person be successful with each and every change that impacts them.
Would you like to talk to this advice you gave us for the PSCP?
So as you've heard, the road to maturity in change management or anything else, I don't think is linear. It's going to dip, it's going to dive, it's going to increase. It just depends on what's going on. There's a lot of external factors that can impact the maturity of change management in your organizations. But we really are trying to focus on building the frameworks that help hold it up, even in times where we have a lot of barriers or challenges.
If you ever do a webinar like this, make sure that somebody keeps you on time. Michelle and I can talk forever. I know there's been a ton of questions. Sorry, folks, we won't have a chance to get to all of that. Everything that Michelle said, and persistence pays, folks. Stay the course. It's honorable work. Helping other people be successful with change that impacts them, it's honorable work, folks. Tough work. If you ever need a shoulder to cry on, virtually or via email or anything, please reach out. We've been in your shoes. It's worthwhile. It's honorable. It's noble work. Stay the course. Be persistent, and rely on your partners out there.
All right. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Corey and Anna, so much for hosting. I'm taking my CDOT hat off. I'm putting PSCP back on. I'm back here. Yay, thank you. And of course, there's so much more. It would be super hard to cover everything in 40 minutes. And I'm sorry we went over. So I'm going to move right along. I need to check real quick the GoFundMe. Patricia, do you have it? Oh, there it is. Maybe. Nope, that's not it.
We're still we're at 896, so we're 104 short. But we raised quite a bit during this session, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, then that answers that question. I'm gonna make the judgment call. Let's wait one more cycle, and at the next meeting we will do the raffle for the 3-day practitioner course from ProSci. Thank you guys for understanding. We want to try to use that to help us raise the money so we can get moving. Totally appreciate everyone. And if you need PDUs, make sure to, Corey already put it in the chat, or maybe, no, that was the GoFundMe. If you need PDUs, Corey's going to put the link in chat that you click on and fill it out. Should be coming here in just a second. And then if you need to connect with us, there's our website, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky Social. Oh, thank you, Corey, for the PMI PDUs link. And that is it, my friends. I wish you the best, and go forth, conquer, help everybody with that change that you can, and have a wonderful week, and please be safe. There we go. Sorry we didn't get to the questions. I'm like so bummed that we didn't do the questions. If anybody wants to